Swastika. Here in Siam, that is how we say hello. I'm pleased to introduce myself. My name is Yang. Many years ago, I lived in the palace of the great king, Mongkut of Siam. He wished to be a modern king, to learn all there was of Western culture. So he brought to Siam a school teacher from England. This is the story of my school teacher, Mrs. Anna, and the powerful king of Siam, and of how their meeting changed many lives, most of all, their own. Our story begins 30 years ago, in 1862, when I was just a young girl. The ship is called the Chowphia. The ship has sailed from Singapore, up the Gulf of Siam, and is now making its way slowly along the winding river that approaches Bangkok, the capital city of Siam.
Oh, Louis! There you are. Good morning, Captain Norton.
Good morning, Mom.
Louis, look. There's Bangkok. Do you see that cluster of lights?
I see them.
It's exciting, isn't it?
I wonder if you know what you're facing, Mom. An Englishwoman here in the east?
Look, Mother. A boat with a dragon's head, and men carrying torches.
That's the royal barge.
Do you suppose that's the king sitting under the gold canopy?
No, that's the crown home. Sort of prime minister. The king's right-hand man, you might say.
Do you suppose he's coming out to meet us?
Oh, no doubt of it.
They all look rather frightened, don't they, Mother? Father would not have liked us to be afraid, would he?
No, Louis. Father would not have liked us to be afraid.
Mother, does anything ever frighten you?
Sometimes.
What do you do?
I whistle. Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune so no one will suspect I'm afraid. While shivering in my shoes, I strike a careless pose and whistle a happy tune, and no one ever knows I'm afraid. The result of this deception is very strange to tell, for when I fool the people I fear, I fool myself as well. I whistle a happy tune, and every single time the happiness in the tune convinces me that I'm not afraid. Make believe you're brave, and the trip will take you far. You may be as brave as you make believe you are. You may be as brave as you make believe you are.
I think that's a very good idea, Mother. You know, I don't think I shall ever be afraid again.
Good.
Make believe you're brave, and the trip will take you far. You may be as brave as you make believe you are. You may be as brave as you make believe you are.
Good evening, sir. Welcome to Siam. He called you sir.
Hush, dear.
Pleased to present the Crown Home.
The crown home is a man of great power, the king's most trusted advisor.
Sir, the Crown Home wishes to know, are you the lady who will be schoolmistress for royal children?
Yes.
Sir, the Crown Home would also like to know, are you married?
I am a widow.
What manner of man, your deceased husband?
My husband was an officer in Her Majesty's army Tell your master that his business with me is in my capacity as school teacher to the royal children, and he has no right to pry into my personal affairs.
I don't think I would.
I don't like that man.
In foreign country, it is best to like everyone until you leave.
Your Excellency, I had no idea you spoke English.
It is not necessary for you to know everything at once. You come with me now. Your box is carried to Palace later.
But I am not living in the palace.
Who say?
The king says, the king has promised me a house of my own.
King do not always remember what he promised. If I tell him he break this promise, I will make anger in him. I think it is better I make anger in him about larger matters.
I'm sorry, Your Excellency, but I came here to work, and I shall take nothing less than what I have been promised, and that includes a house of my own.
You will tell King this.
I will tell King this.
It will be very interesting meeting. Come to Palace now.
Your Excellency, I have made a bargain, and I shall live up to my bargain. I expect a bargain to be kept on both sides. I shall go with you now,
To the palace.
for the time being.
And so, Mrs. Anna and Louis set off to meet the King of Siam. Siam is a country in Southeast Asia, approximately twice the size of the United State of Wyoming. Siam is a beautiful country, alive with many colors. It is with great honor that I introduce to you the King of Siam.
Hoo!
Your Majesty, I present you the Tom, emissary from Court of Burma.
I bring you present from King of Burma.
Am I to trust the ruler of Burma, or is she a spy?
She is not a spy, Your Majesty.
My name is Tuptim. You are pleased that I speak English?
Ha!
King is pleased with you.
Your Majesty wishes me to leave?
I will tell you when I wish you to leave.
Your Majesty, please to present Madame Leanne Owens.
Your Majesty.
You are school teacher?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Good. You may start work.
There is a matter we have to settle first, Your Majesty.
You are part of a general plan I have to bring to Siam what is good in Western culture. Already I bring here a printing press for printing.
Yes, I know. Before I signed our agreement, I found out all I could about Your Majesty's ambitions for Siam.
Ha! This is scientific. Good, good, good. You are pleased with your apartments in Palace.
Actually, my son and I have found them rather confining, with guards at our doors not permitting us to leave our quarters.
Strangers cannot be allowed to roam around Palace before presenting to King. You could look out of windows.
Yes, Your Majesty. We have seen New Year's celebrations, funeral ceremonies, etc., etc., etc.
Etc. What is this etc.?
According to the dictionary, it means, and the rest. All of the things that you have been doing while we have been waiting. The fireworks.
Best fireworks I ever see at funeral. How do you like my acrobats?
Splendid, Your Majesty. Best acrobats I ever see at funeral.
Ha! Splendid.
How many children have you, Your Majesty?
67 altogether, but you shall only teach children of mothers who are in royal favor with the king. Ah, Lady Tiang, Madame Leanne Owens. This is Lady Tiang, head wife. Lady Tiang, you will help Madame Leanne Owens with her school teaching, and she in turn will teach you better English. She is grateful to me for my kindness. Tuptim! She arrived today. She is present to me from Burma Prince.
She is a present?
Madam, you have English books I can read?
Of course I have.
I wish most read a book called Small House
woman has written a book?
A very wonderful book, Your Majesty. An American book. All about slavery.
Oh, President Lincoln against slavery, no? Me too. Slavery, very bad thing. Lady Tiong, take Tuptim to her quarters and prepare royal children for presenting to school teacher.
Your Majesty, in our agreement...
I think you shall teach my wives, too. Those who are in royal favor.
I shall be most happy to teach your wives, even though that wasn't part of our agreement. Speaking of our agreement, reminds me that there's the matter of my house.
What house?
The house you promised me.
You teach in palace, you shall live in palace.
Well, if that's how it must be, then I'm afraid I shall have to return.
Ha! You will stand here to meet royal children.
But Your Majesty...
The royal princes and princesses.
very fond of Miss Susanna. She taught us many English words and songs.
True the long cord.
Father, I shall be late for school.
Please recite proverbs you have learned yesterday and writing down 12 times in your copybook.
A thought for the day. East or west, home is best.
East, west, home best. Home means house. Every day always something about a house. Are my children to be taught nothing more?
Yesterday we were taught that the world is a round ball, which spins on a stick in the middle. Everyone knows that the world rides on the back of a great turtle, which keeps it from running to the stars.
How can everyone know one thing if many believe another thing?
Then, which is true?
The world is ball with stick through it, I believe.
Does that mean you do not know? But you must know, because you are king.
Someday you too will be king, and you too will know everything.
But when do I know that I know everything?
When you are king, now leave me. When you are king, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure of anything. When I was a boy, the world was better spot. What was so was so. What was not. Now I'm a man. The world has changed a lot. Some things nearly so. Others nearly not. There are times I almost think I am not sure what I absolutely know. Or very often find confusion in conclusion I concluded long ago. For in my head are many facts that as a student I have studied to procure. Or in my head are many facts of which I wish I was more certain I was sure. It is a puzzlement. Shall I join with other nations in alliance? If allies are we in your mind best alone? If allies are strong with power to protect me, might they not protect me out of all I own? It's a danger to be trusting one another. One will seldom want to do what other wishes. But unless someday somebody trusts somebody, there'll be nothing left on earth excepting fishes. Oh, sometimes I think that people are going mad. Sometimes I think that people are not so bad. But no matter what I think, I must go on living life. As a leader of my kingdom, I must go forth. Be a father to my children, and husband to each wife, etc., etc., and so forth. If my Lord in heaven, Buddha, show the way, every day I try my best for one more day. If my Lord in heaven, Buddha, show the way, every day I try my best for one more day. But is a puzzlement.
Mrs. Anna was a wonderful teacher. I can still remember the school song she wrote for us.
We work and work from week to week at the Royal Bangkok Academy, and English words are all we speak at the Royal Bangkok Academy. If we pay attention to our teacher and obey her every rule,
a true and honest thought, that if you become a teacher, by your pupils you'll be taught. As a teacher I've been learning, you'll forgive me if I boast, and I've now become an expert on the subject I like most. Getting to know you. Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you. Getting to like you. Getting to hold you like me. Getting to know you. Putting it my way but nicely. You are precisely my cup of tea. Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy. When I'm with you, getting to know what to say. Haven't you noticed, suddenly I'm bright and breezy, because of all the beautiful and new things I'm learning about you day by day.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. Getting to know you, putting it my way but nicely. You're precisely my cup of tea. Getting to know you, getting to feel free and easy. When I'm with you, getting to know what to say. Haven't you noticed, suddenly I'm bright and breezy, because of all the beautiful and new things I'm learning about you day by day.
My goodness, this started out to be a lesson.
What is that green up there?
That is Norway.
Norway.
Norway is a very cold place. Sometimes it gets so cold that the lakes and the rivers freeze, and the water becomes so hard that you can walk on it.
Walk on water?
How is it possible? Hard water? Not only hard, but very slippery too. When people walk on it, they fall down and slide, and the raindrops are changed into little white spots that look like lace. This is called snow.
Snow? Spots of lace!
Yes, Your Highness. The water freezes on its way down from the sky.
There's not a word of truth in it.
I cannot believe in such thing as snow. And I do not believe Siam is so small. Our country is so big.
Siam, the biggest country in the world!
Yeah!
What? How can schoolroom be so unscientific?
Your Majesty, we have had a bit of a misunderstanding. I was explaining snow to them, and they refused to believe there was such a thing.
Snow.
Snow.
Ah, yes, from mountaintop.
From the sky.
From sky to mountaintop. I have seen pictures. Switzerland. Land all white with snow.
That right, Your Majesty.
Who does not believe this? Do not ever let me hear of not believing schoolteacher whom I bring here at great expense. £20 each month. Sterling! Children must learn. Teacher must teach. Not instruct children in silly English song, Home Sweet House. I will break promises I never made, etc., etc., etc.
Your Majesty did promise me a house. A brick residence adjoining the royal palace. Those were the words in your letter.
I do not remember such words.
I remember them.
Who is king here? I will do the remembering. I remind you so that you remember that. I do not know of any promise. I do not know of anything except that you are my servant.
Your Majesty, indeed I am not your servant.
Your mother's bad manners! Your father's a man-in-law!
Louis! Your Majesty, if you do not give me the house you promised, I'm afraid I shall have to return to England.
Do not let her go away.
I let her do nothing that is not my pleasure. It is my pleasure to stay here in palace.
No, Your Majesty.
Why wish you to leave these children, all of whom loving you so extraordinarily?
I do not wish to leave them. I love them too, quite extraordinarily. But I cannot live in a country where a promise has no meaning.
You'll say no more about this promise.
A land where there is talk of honor, and a wish for Siam to take its place among the modern nations of the world. Where there's talk of great changes, but everything still remains according to the wishes of the king.
You will say no more! No more!
I will say no more because I have no more to say.
Out, out, out! So big a world. Siam very small. England very small. All people very small. No man big enough for to be alone. But king different. King need know it all, I think.
Mrs. Anna, what is Lady Tian? Will you go to King? He has sent for me?
No, but he would be glad to see you. He is deeply wounded, man. No one has ever spoken to him as he did today in the schoolroom.
No one has ever behaved to me as His Majesty did today in the schoolroom.
There is more distressing thing. Our agents in Singapore have found letters to British government from certain people who wish to take Siam away from King. They describe King as barbarian.
That is outrageous. He is many things I do not like, but he is not a barbarian.
Then will you help him?
You mean advise him?
It must not sound like advice. King cannot take advice, and he will not bring up subject. You must bring it up.
But I cannot go to him. It's against all my principles.
He wished to be modern king, with Western ideas, but it's hard for him. He could be great man, Mrs. Anna, but he needs special help. He needs you. This is a man who thinks with his heart. His heart is not always wise. This is a man who stumbles and
Your Majesty? Your Majesty? Your Majesty is reading the Bible.
Ah, Mrs. Arnold, I think your Moses should have been a fool. Here it stands written about him that the world was created in 6 days. You know and I know it took many ages to create world. I think he shall have been a fool to have written so. What is your opinion?
Your Majesty, the Bible was not written by men of science, but by men of faith. It was their explanation of the miracle of creation, which was the same miracle, whether it took 6 days or many centuries.
You have come to apologize?
I'm sorry, Your Majesty,
Good.
but
You apologize.
Your Majesty,
I accept.
Your Majesty, nothing can alter the fact that in my country, anyone who makes a promise...
Silence! Do you not have any respect for me? Why do you stand over my head? I cannot stand all the time, and in this country no one's head shall be higher than kings. In my presence you shall so conduct yourself as all other subjects.
You mean on the floor? I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I shall try very hard not to let my head be as high as yours. But I simply cannot grovel on the floor. I cannot possibly work that way. Or think.
You are a very difficult woman. But you shall observe care that head shall never be higher than mine. If I shall sit, you shall sit. If I shall kneel, you shall kneel. Etc., etc., etc.
Very well, Your Majesty.
Is promise.
Is promise.
Good.
Is there anything Your Majesty would like to discuss?
Why should I discuss important matters with woman?
Very well, Your Majesty. Your Majesty, I was wondering, has there been any news from abroad?
Yeah, there has been news. Certain English thieves who wish to steal my country call me a barbarian.
Barbarian? But that is a lie.
A false lie. A British diplomat now on way to Siam will see for himself. Diplomat Sir Edward Ramsay.
Edward?
You know Sir Diplomat?
I knew him many years ago, before I was married. What have you decided to do about the situation?
You guess.
Well, if someone were telling a lie about me, I would do my best to show them the truth.
Yes, that is what I shall have intended to do. But how? You guess how I shall do this.
Well, my guess would be that when Sir Edward arrives, you shall entertain him in an especially grand manner. Then you will return to England and report to Queen Victoria that you are not a barbarian.
Naturally, that is what I shall have intended to do.
Of course, put your best foot forward. That means to be at your best, to show him your most intelligent men and your most beautiful women.
But shall it be proper for English diplomats to see my women with no shoes on their feet? Shall it be proper for them to put their best bare feet forward?
We shall dress them up in European fashion. How many women can I have sew for me?
All women in kingdom. Come, come, everybody, wives, etc., etc., etc.
How much time shall we have?
That depends on how many ports you stop into. Let us say we have 1 week.
1 week?
Whole world was created in this time, Moses said. Are there any details I did not think of so far?
We shall give him a fine dinner, a European dinner,
I was going to.
and a ball with music and dancing. And we can present a play. Tuptim has written a version of
theatrical performance. In such a splendid evening, he will see that I am not a barbarian. Line up, line up. For the next week, the men and women of my kingdom shall work in preparation for the arrival of British diplomat.
Your Majesty, it is the arrival of Sir Edward Ramsay.
Now?
He must have come directly. No stops.
But we are not ready.
Not ready, Your Majesty?
I had planned the best idea I ever get.
Still, we can do it, Your Majesty. We shall put Sir Edward to bed.
And tomorrow we shall send him on sightseeing trip.
We shall start now, this minute. We have only 18 hours, but...
But first we shall ask help from Buddha. Bow, bow, bow. Bow. O Buddha, give us the aid of your strength and your wisdom. And help us to prove to the visiting English that we are extraordinary and remarkable people.
And help us to prove to the visiting English that we are extraordinary and remarkable people.
Help also Mrs. Anna to keep awake for scientific sewing of dresses, even though she be only a woman and a Christian, and therefore unworthy of your interest. A promise. Head shall never be higher than mine. A promise. And Buddha, I promise you, I shall give this unworthy woman a house. A house of her own. A brick residence adjoining the royal palace, as according to agreement. Etc., etc., etc.
And Buddha, I promise you a house of her own, a brick residence adjoining the royal palace, according to agreement, etc.
She instructed in the style of European dress and supervised the cooking of the European dinner. Everyone was eager to assist Mrs. Anna, so as to make a proper impression upon the British diplomat. Lady Tiang was specially helpful, knowing how important this evening was to be for our father.
Ladies, clear everything away, quickly now.
Lady Tiang, what is this costume? Here is east, here is west.
Much work to do. Cannot move fast and swollen skirt.
Lady Tiang, here are the napkins for dinner. Will you put them on the table?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Anna, shall it be true that Englishmen have hair on their chins like goats? Some do wear beards, but they do not look like goats.
I have heard that many have the evil eye that looks into your soul and traps it.
That's nonsense.
Mrs. Anna, herewith shall be a list of subjects you shall try to bring up for talk. On such subjects, I am brilliant and will make great impression. You begin with Moses.
Your Majesty, Sir Edward Ramsay awaits.
We are now ready, Mrs. Anna?
We are now ready, Your Majesty.
Bring British diplomat for presenting to me.
He will eat us.
He will do nothing of the kind. Now pour wine, ladies, and please
British custom of spying glass.
Oh, my monocle. Is that one right?
Your Majesty, may I present Sir Edward Ramsay?
And honor, your majesty.
Welcome to Siam.
Anna, my dear.
His Majesty was most happy to learn of your visit. Weren't you, Your Majesty?
I was happy.
Your Majesty, dinner is about to be served.
Dinner.
In that case, we better be going in, Anna.
Yes. Better be going in, Anna.
His Majesty made an interesting observation the other day about Moses.
In the palace of the king lives one who is not happy. She wishes to leave Siam, but it is forbidden. She meets secretly with the man she loves. This is very dangerous.
Captain, the king and his English guests are on the way to the future pavilion. Should you not desire to begin your play?
I came out here to practice my lines.
I think not. I've seen you and emissaries in Burma together. I do not tell king, but this man Lintao will leave Siam tonight.
Tonight?
We'll go to theater, Captain.
Tuptim.
Luta, she says you leave Siam tonight, but I do not believe her.
It's true, Tuptim. They've already been on the first ship to Burma.
What will we do?
You're coming with me.
I?
Maybe here after your play, everything is arranged.
Captain, this is Anna. They're looking for you at the theater. I guess you were both here. I do think you are being reckless.
Miss Anna, we are leaving tonight.
Leaving? How?
Not ask how. It's better that you do not know.
We shall never forget you, Miss Anna. Never.
God bless you both.
Your Majesty, an honorable guest, I beg to put before you small house of Uncle Thomas.
Small house of Uncle Thomas, small house of Uncle Thomas, written by a woman and young, beach of snow.
House is in Kingdom of Kentucky, ruled by most wicked king in all America, Simon of the Green. Your Majesty, I beg to put before you loving friends. Uncle Thomas,
Dear old Uncle Thomas,
little Eva,
blessed little Eva,
little Topsy,
kiss your finger, Topsy,
happy people.
very happy people.
Your Majesty, I beg to put before you one who is not happy, the slave Eliza.
Poor Eliza, poor Eliza, poor unfortunate slave.
Eliza's king is Simon of the Green. She hates her king and fears him.
clever man. He decided to hunt Eliza, not only with soldiers, but with scientific dogs who sniff and smell and thereby discover all who run from kings.
Run, Eliza, run! Run, Eliza, run! Run from Simon, run! Run, Eliza! Run, run! Run from Simon! Run, run! More, Eliza! Run from Simon! Run, Eliza! Run from Simon! Run, Eliza! Run from Simon! Run, Eliza! Run, run! Ah!
Eliza come to a river. Who can save her? Only Buddha. Save her, Buddha. What will Buddha do? Buddha, make a miracle. Buddha, send an angel down. Angel, make the wind blow cold. Make the river water hard, hard enough to walk upon. Buddha,
Make a miracle.
Angel, show her how to walk on frozen water. Now, as token of his love, Buddha sent a new miracle. Send from heaven stars and blossoms. Look like lace upon the sky.
Praise to Buddha. Praise to Buddha. Praise to Buddha.
So Eliza crossed the river, hidden by this veil of lace. Forgot to tell you name of miracle. Snow. Okay, so she can see wicked Simon of Liberty slide across the river fast with his bloodhounds and his slaves. What has happened to the river? Buddha has called out the sun.
Buddha has called out the sun. Sun has made joy. I tell you what Harriet Beecher Stowe say that Topsy's stay. I specs I's the wickedest creature in the world. But I do not believe Topsy is wicked critter. Because I too am glad for death of king. Of any king who pursues a slave who is unhappy and wish to join her beloved. And your majesty, I wish to say to you, your majesty, and honorable guest, I will tell you end of story. It is very sad ending. Buddha has saved Eliza, but with blessings of Buddha also comes sacrifice.
It is immoral for a king to drown in pursuing a slave to the sea. Immoral, immoral. Top Tim shall know my displeasure.
But your conversation at dinner was most amusing.
I was forced to laugh myself. I was so funny.
Well, my evening has been most enjoyable. I am certain that Queen Victoria will be quite pleased. Well, goodbye, Anna, my dear. Wait. Goodbye, my dear. It's lovely to see you again.
Goodbye, Edward. Well, Your Majesty, I do hope you are pleased.
I wish to say you have been a great help to me in this endeavor. I wish to make gift. I hope you'll accept. Put it on finger. Put on. Put on.
Your Majesty, I do not know what to say.
When one does not know what to say, it is time to be silent. Please stay all night until you further report on Top Tim.
I have intended to do so, Your Majesty.
Is there something wrong with Top Tim?
I do not know, nor do I consider this the most important thing. It is of greater interest that the English think highly of me. It appears I've made great impression, and they will not think me barbarian.
That is what you intended to prove.
What we intended to prove. Top Tim is missing from palace. You know something of this?
I knew she was unhappy.
Why unhappy? What greater honor for a young girl than to be palace of a king?
Your Majesty, if Top Tim is caught, shall she be punished?
Naturally. What would you do if you were king?
Well, I would give her a chance to explain. I would try not to be too harsh. Your Majesty, what interest of you is one girl like Top Tim? She is just another woman, as a bowl of rice is just another bowl of rice.
Now you understand about women.
Your Majesty, I don't know if I can ever make it clear to you. We don't look on women as just human females. They are... Well, take yourself, for instance. You're not just a human male.
I am king.
Exactly. So every man is a king and every woman is a queen when they love each other.
This is sickly idea.
It is a beautiful idea, Your Majesty. We are brought up with it, of course. Imagine a young girl at her first dance. It is very exciting. When you're young, sitting on a small chair, eyes cast down, terrified that you'll be a wallflower. Suddenly, you see two black shoes,
waistcoat, a face, and it speaks. We just been introduced. I do not know you well, but when the music started, something drew me to your side. So many men and girls are in each other's arms. It made me think we might be similarly how you are. Shall we dance on a bright cloud of music? Shall we fly? Shall we dance? Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye? Or perchance, when the last little star has left the sky, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And shall you be my new romance? On the pier, understanding that this kind of thing can happen. Shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance?
Why do you stop? You dance pretty. Go on, go on.
Your Majesty, I didn't realize I was in my country. A girl would not dance alone while a man was looking on.
But she will dance with strange men, holding hands, etc., etc.
Well, yes, but not always a strange man. Sometimes a very good friend.
Good. You show me. Teach.
It's very simple, the polka. It goes 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1. Shall we dance?
1, 2, 3, and
On a bright cloud of music, shall we fly?
1, 2, 3, and
Shall we dance?
1, 2, 3, and
Shall we then say goodnight and mean goodbye?
1, 2, 3, and or perchance, when the last little star has left the sky,
Shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And shall you be my new romance? On the pier, understanding that this kind of thing can happen.
shall we dance? Shall we dance? Shall we dance?
Splendid, Your Majesty.
Splendid, yes. But this is not the way I see you and British diplomat dancing tonight.
Yes, it was.
No, we're not holding two hands like this.
Oh, no.
Was like this, no?
Yes.
Come. What?
Your Majesty, we have found Tucker.
Where is she?
They are bringing her now.
What will you do with her?
When it happens, you will know.
Do not let them hit you, Mrs. Ryan. Do not let them.
She was found on Chinese sailing ship. It is believed she was running away, but men will bring her here from Burma.
Dishonor! Dishonor! Hoy!
Your Majesty, I beg of you, do not throw away everything you have accomplished tonight. This girl hurt your vanity. She did not hurt your heart. You haven't got a heart. You never loved anyone, and you never will.
I showed you!
Your Majesty, I cannot believe you are going to do this dreadful thing. You are a barbarian.
Silence! Am I king or am I not king? Am I to take orders from English school teacher?
No, not orders.
Silence! I am king as I was born to be, and Siam to be governed in my way, not English way, not French way, not Chinese way, my way. Barbarian, you say there's no worse barbarian than a weak king, and I'm strong. You hear strong?
Majesty.
I wish you had never come to Siam.
So do I. So do I!
The crowd at home is cracked. Mrs. Anna's words have changed him. He has become very ill and wishes to see no one. Meanwhile, Mrs. Anna and Louis have prepared to leave Siam. The last of their belongings have been loaded onto the ship for their return to England. Lady Tian and Chula Onghorn rush to the dock to see them.
Mother, what is wrong with my father?
It is his heart.
Mother, I am frightened. I'm frightened because I love my father. And if he dies, I shall become king. And I don't know how to be.
Many men learn this after they become king.
Chula Longhorn! Lady Tian, how nice of you to come and say goodbye.
I did not come only to say goodbye. When King heard you were sailing, he wrote this letter. It was difficult for him, madam. Very difficult. He commanded that I bring it to you.
Please read to all of us. I'd like to hear my father is sad. While I am lying here, I think perhaps I died. This heart, which you say I have not got, is a matter of concern. It occurs to me that there shall be nothing wrong that men shall die. For all that shall matter about a man is that he shall have tried his utmost best. But I do not wish to die without saying his gratitude, etc., etc. I think it is strange that a woman shall have been most earnest help of all. But Mrs. Anna, you must remember that you have been a very difficult woman, and much more difficult than General. I must go to him.
Mother, I thought you and the king were very angry with each other.
We were, Louis.
Now he's dying. Does that make you better friends?
I suppose so. We can't hurt each other anymore.
I didn't know it hurt you.
Louis, when two people are as different as we are, they are almost bound to hurt each other.
Was he as good a king as he could have been?
Louis, I don't think any man has ever been as good a king as he could have been. But this one tried. He tried very hard.
You really like him, don't you, Mother?
Yes, Louis. I like you very much. Very much indeed.
Many days I do not see you, Mrs. Anna. And now I die.
Oh no, Your Majesty.
This is not scientific, Mrs. Anna. I know if I die or do not die. You are leaving Siam? When?
Very soon, Your Majesty. In fact, I can only stay a few minutes.
I too am leaving, but not of my own free will. Why is your head above mine? I am not afraid of that which is happening to me. You teach Chulalongkorn. Chulalongkorn teach me. Make believe you pray. is a good idea. Always.
But you are brave, Your Majesty. You are very brave.
I have something belonging to you. Put it on. Please wear it, always. Good evening, my children.
Good evening, my father.
Do not go. Will you stay?
Hush, children. Do you come to see your father or Mrs. Anna?
It is all right, Lady Tian. It is suitable. Was it not said to me that someone had written farewell letter to Mrs. Anna?
Princess Ying Yelawak has composed a letter to Mrs. Anna. She cannot write. She only recite words.
Speak letter now. Say it, say it.
Dear friend and teacher, my goodness gracious, do not go away. We are in great need of you. We are like one blind. Do not let us fall down in darkness. Continue good and sincere concern for us, and lead us in the right road. Your loving pupil, Princess Ying Yawali.
I will never forget the letter I recited that day.
Do not leave us. We are afraid of them. Afraid.
How frightened I was at the thought of Mrs. Anna leaving us.
When you are afraid, make believe you brave. You show them how you do. You teach them. Let it be the last thing you teach.
Whenever I feel afraid, I hold my head erect and whistle a happy tune, so no one will suspect.
You see, make believe you brave like schoolteacher and whistle. Now, now, show schoolteacher how brave.
Louis, hurry down to the ship and tell Captain Norton that we will not be sailing today after all.
Silence is no doing for this demonstration for schoolteacher realizing her duty, for which I pay her exorbitant monthly salary of 25 pounds. Further, this is unscientific behavior for bedroom of dying king. Chulanghorn, rise. I suppose you are king. Is there nothing you would do? Well, well, well?
I will make proclamations.
Yes, yes, yes.
First, I will proclaim for coming New Year, boat races.
Why would you have boat races with New Year celebrations?
I like boat races. Father, I will make second proclamation.
Make it, make it.
Regarding custom of bowing to king in fashion of lowly toe, I do not believe this is a good thing, causing embarrassing fatigue of body, degrading experience for soul, etc., etc., etc. You were angry with me, my father?
Why do you ask questions? If you are king, you are king. Do not ask questions of a sick man. I believe this proclamation against bowing must be your fault.
Oh, I hope so, Your Majesty. I do hope so.
Up! Rise up!
Line up, 2 lines like soldiers. It has been said that there shall be no bowing for showing respect of king. It has been said by one who has been trained for royal government.
However, no bowing like toad does not mean you do not show respect for king. You will stand with shoulders square and chin high like this. You will bow to me, the gentlemen only bending the waist, and the ladies will make dip, as in Europe.